Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're tuning in because today we are unpacking a deeply emotional, literally tear-jerking story out of Agra. We're talking about the very fabric of human connection, the transient nature of wealth, and the hidden dangers of pride. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's jump right into it.
Okay, let's start this off with a really powerful question straight from our source. Ek roti or ek ehsan? Kya ye dosti se badi ho sakti hai? Now, if you don't speak Hindi, that translates to something just incredibly profound. A single piece of bread and a favor, can they be bigger than friendship itself? It's a philosophical hook that challenges us right out of the gate. I mean, can one tiny interaction, a basic request for food, completely shatter years of companionship? Keep that question in the back of your mind, right? Because it's the absolute anchor for everything we're about to explore today.
Part 1. A Tale of Two Friends.
So looking back at their childhood, the contrast between these two boys is just night and day. On one hand, you've got Rohan. He's the wealthy kid of the school, rolling up in a massive car, wearing all the expensive clothes. And naturally, everybody wants to be his friend, right? They flock to him, probably hoping some of that status just kind of rubs off. But then, on the flip side, we have Aman. Aman is really struggling. His family is so impoverished that just securing 2 square meals a day is a monumental challenge. But here's the kicker. Despite this massive gap in their worlds, Aman is the only kid who sits with Rohan completely selflessly. He doesn't care about the fancy car or the clothes. He just wants to be a genuine friend, even sharing whatever tiny bit of food he has in his own tiffin.
But, true friendship is almost always tested when we're at our most vulnerable. And this brings us to a massive turning point in their youth. Aman says, "Bhai, aaj ghar mein khana nahi bana. Kya teri roti milegi?" Basically, "Brother, no food was made at home today. Can I have your bread?" Just take a second and imagine the sheer courage it took for Aman to ask that. He's a kid, he's fully aware of his poverty, and he has to swallow his pride to ask his wealthy best friend for a simple piece of bread. He's hungry, he's desperate, and he turns to the one guy he thinks he can count on.
And Rohan's response? It is just brutally cruel. He says, "Roz roz mangne aa jata hai, apna dekhna," which means you come begging every single day, look after yourself. It's heartbreaking. Rohan's immense wealth hadn't just bought him nice things, it had bred this deep, blinding arrogance. He doesn't just say no to the bread, he completely demeans the one person who actually cared about him. He swats him away like a nuisance.
The source material sums up what happens next in just 4 heavy words. Aman chup ho gaya. Aman went quiet. And wow, does that perfectly capture the crushing weight of betrayal? He didn't argue, he didn't yell or throw a fit. The shame and the heartbreak just totally forced him into silence. The text mentions Aman stayed hungry that entire day, but let's be real, that physical hunger was completely overshadowed by the realization that his friendship meant absolutely nothing to Rohan.
Section 2. The Wheel of Time.
So, mapping this out, we started in their school days with that massive, unequal wealth gap. Then we hit that painful turning point, the day of the refusal. Now, fast forward 5 entire years. The boys have grown into men. And you know how it goes, life is never static. The universe has this crazy way of balancing the scales, and the dynamic between these two is about to experience a huge shift, setting the stage for a seriously poetic twist of fate.
Talk about a 180-degree reversal of fortune. Rohan, the kid with the big car and the expensive clothes, has literally lost everything. His business completely sank, he's drowning in debt, totally bankrupt. We actually find him freezing and starving outside a street-side tea stall on a bitterly cold night. And right as he's at absolute rock bottom, a car pulls up. Who steps out? Aman. The impoverished boy who once couldn't afford a single meal is now a highly successful teacher, driving his own car. Fate has just dropped them right back into each other's paths, but their roles are entirely swapped. Now remember how Rohan treated Aman when the shoe was on the other foot? Total humiliation, right? But Aman's reaction here is an absolute masterclass in empathy. First, he just silently takes Rohan home, no gloating, no "I told you so." Second, he immediately gives him hot tea and food, literally the exact thing Rohan denied him 5 years ago. And third, he wraps him up in a warm blanket. It's just instant, selfless action. Aman doesn't see a guy who wronged him, he just sees a human being who's hurting.
Section 3. Friendship Beyond Wealth.
So the physical needs, the hunger, the freezing cold, those are taken care of. But that heavy, unspoken history is just hanging in the air in Amon's living room. As Rohan warms up, the absolute crushing weight of what he did 5 years ago really hits him. He actually breaks down in tears and says, Jistin tune roti mangiti mene manakar diasa. Aj tu, meaning, the day you asked for bread, I refused you. And today, He can't even finish the sentence. The guilt of his past arrogance is literally suffocating him. He realizes that when he had the world, he gave nothing. And now that Amon has it all, Amon just gave him salvation.
And Aman's response to this tearful breakdown? He just smiles and says, Bhai ehsan ka mol paison se nahi hota, dosti se hota hai. Brother, the value of a favor isn't measured in money. It's measured in friendship. It's incredibly beautiful. He's telling Rohan, hey, this kindness isn't a transaction. This isn't a debt hanging over your head, and it's definitely not a weapon to make you feel small. It's just what friends do for each other, no matter what happened in the past. Talk about emotional maturity.
Let's quickly distill the core takeaways from this story, because they are so important. First, waqt sabka badalta hai. Time changes for everyone. The wheel always turns, right? The wealthy can lose it all, and the struggling can rise. Second, never mock the poor. Wealth is completely temporary, but how you treat people, that leaves a permanent mark on their souls. And finally, always remember the value of a favor and the power of kindness. Aman remembered the pure friendship they had before that awful refusal, and he chose to honor that friendship instead of honoring the resentment.
Which leaves us with a final, really vital question to reflect on today. Who is the Aman in your life that stood by you when things were tough? And maybe even more importantly, how are you treating the people around you who might have a little less than you do? Are you letting pride steer the ship, or are you leading with that unconditional kind of friendship that Aman showed? Think on that today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. I really hope this incredible story sticks with you just as long as it has stuck with me. Keep learning, keep reflecting, and I'll catch you next time.